Hi, my friends. Good morning. It is Friday, March 14th, 2025, and welcome to my sunroom. My name is Barb. My channel here is mostly about cross-stitching, but of course I will talk about quilting and maybe some other little arty things that I'm doing. I do have a mention today about some crochet. I need some help with that. So I'm glad you're here. If you have not yet, would you please click the subscribe button? I have a goal. I have a goal to get to 50 new friends. I know it doesn't seem like much, but to me it's huge. I don't even think I have 50 friends or know 50 people. I know it sounds silly, but if you haven't, could you please hit the subscribe button, like this video, leave me a comment. I would love to chat with you about whatever. Okay, I'm also going to pop my email into the description box. It is my business email. So if you have any questions with regards to my cross stitching or maybe some quilting items that I'm showing, feel free to email me. So let's get started. I am going to try to keep this short today. Honestly, I wasn't going to film today, but I missed you. I missed my friends, and I thought I won't be able to do it until next Friday. That's just too long. Too long in my book. And it's a beautiful, beautiful sunny day here. We are going to be in the 60-degree range. The snow is melted. I'm looking outside. I don't see any. There might be some hidden in some places, but at least around here by me in my little town of West Seneca, the snow has melted. I'm just outside of the city of Buffalo, and we are known for the amount of snow that we get. But I did look at some records, and we were not top in the state this year. I think we're like fourth down, something like that. I think Rochester and Syracuse actually got more snow than we did. And you people can have it. Thank you very much. All right, so let's get started. Let's talk about some cross stitch today. What do I want to tell you that I've worked on? Okay, so I haven't really worked on a lot of different pieces. I'm not monogamous, but I'm finding that I need to finish these pieces. They're getting to the point where I'm looking at them and I'm like, if I don't focus on you to get you done, I'm not going to want to finish. So I've really been sticking to my guns and getting these things done. So according to my book of days, and I have my stuff all spread out around here, according to my book of days, and I do have it stickered up, and oh man, I love stickers. That's the 10-year-old in me. I love stickers, right? I've worked on starting on Sunday. Now, one of the things, hang on one second. They're doing construction outside here. I don't know if I mentioned it before, but they've taken all of our gas meters that have been in the house and they've moved them outside, all in my area here. My whole front and side. I live on a corner lot, so I'm watching them right now with the little backhoe or track hoe. It's a track hoe. Roll their big piece of wire stuff. It's been a mess. Everything is dug up. But you know what? In all honesty, I am happy that they did it during the winter months, because had they dug all of this up in the summer, I would have been very, very unhappy. So anyway, let me show you here. So what I've been working on, or the few pieces that I've worked on this week, you know what, I may as well start with this one, is my Americana blue. Now, I have mentioned that my Americana red is done, and I've shown that. It's fully framed and hanging on my wall. So what I'm trying to do with my Americana blue is two strands, what I should say. So I'm almost done with the width of it. There's still another design that needs to go in the corner here. So what I'm doing is, this is my Sunday stitch. I am taking two strands. Now I am using Blue Jeans by Weeks Dye Works to stitch on this. So I'm taking two strands. Now when I cut my length, I cut a good piece, right? I don't like to keep threading my needle. So depending on the fabric that I'm using and the floss itself, I find that sometimes I can work with a longer piece because it doesn't become frayed. I'm finding that on some of my older Ada, that's Esther, I'm finding that on some of my older Ada, pulling the floss through is fraying it. And I'm also finding, now my husband for Christmas got me off of Amazon, it's a box full of DMC floss. And it's the whole line, but I believe it's seconds, because looking at the floss, using the floss, you can just see how the threads are not tightly woven around. So I'm very cautious when I use that. I'm using it in pieces that, that like a seasonal stitch or something like that. I'm very grateful that he did that. It is now my second complete set of DMC, but I'm cautious when I use that thread because it's really not wound as tightly as the DMC that you would buy individually in the skein. This came in a box, and they were already pre-wound on the bobbins. So I will take 2 strands. Now I am stitching with 1/2 on this linen, and that is my Sunday stitch. And I'm really working very hard to complete that because I did purchase Americana White at Market, and I'm excited about picking that up from Hobby House when I go to retreat next month. So this is Americana Blue. It is by October House Fiber Arts. And it is more of a sewing themed. And I know I mentioned when I did my Americana Red that I changed some things in it. And as I look at this design, I'm very comfortable with keeping pretty much everything on here. So as I showed you, what I need to finish on the top row is this design right there. And then I will have my width. And yes, it's going to be close. And I will take it to Hobby Lobby to be framed. So probably what I will do is stitch some linen around the edges so that they have enough to work to pull when they're framing it. I will check with them when I do that, but it is a little bit down the road. So my Americana Blue, I did start it on the 1st of January in 2025. It's my New Year's Day start. And I am stitching on 36 count Chocolate Milk by Seraphim. And I'm telling you, I love the color of that fabric. Again, I'm using Blue Jeans by Weeks Dye Works. I am using 1 strand over 2. And I absolutely love, 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 love this design. And I am super excited about starting Americana White. And I will pick up the fabric and the floss for that when I go to Hobby House next month for retreat, which I'm going to talk about in a little bit. I do want to pick up a linen, and I'm honestly thinking about going with a little bit of a darker linen so that the white that I choose, and it won't be a white, the light color that I choose, a cream or whatever, we'll see how it goes. But I do want to stitch it using a whiter color floss. I don't even know what the called for is right now. So I'm kind of excited about that. So the next piece that I worked on was my Temperature Quaker. I am working, usually on Sundays, I am trying to catch up and stitch the high temps for the week. So here it is here. I am into March, so we go January, February, March. Now, I'm glad that we had some higher temps here, but I'm not happy that the vines for my flowers is yellow. But I think, once everything is done, of course, we look at something like this, we're looking at just what we're working on, and we're not liking it. But again, you need to, when it's all done, take that step back and see how everything blends together. It's the same thing when you're working on a quilt, right? So here I am here with this. This pattern is by Stitchin' Mommy, and I did purchase it off of Etsy a couple years ago, and it is called Temperature Quaker, and I really, really like it. And I'm excited to see with the higher temps that we have here, the lighter colors that are going to be coming through. You see all those dark blues, medium blues, and those deep purples. If you're from the 70s, deep purple, right? Smoke on the Water. Those deep purples were the really, really cold days here. And again, I am doing this as the high temp of the day. I'm not taking the average. I am using the high temp of the day. And I have found a site that just lists the West Seneca temperatures because, you know, I really want to try to keep it local to me. I know that like some of the higher temps that are normally listed for a day are done at like the airport. Like now the airport from me, the Buffalo International Airport, is in Cheektowaga, which is, you know, not too far away, 10-ish minutes on the thruway, but the temperature is different, right? So I'm really trying to keep it local to me. Not that in the overall scheme of things, anybody's really going to know except me, but I'll know, okay? Now the next piece that I've worked on, now can somebody please explain to me why the smaller pieces always seem to cause more trouble? I find that I've made mistakes. And you know what? And I said this last time, I think it's because I'm watching Flosstube while I'm stitching these, thinking, oh, it's a small piece, it'll be fine. Anyway, this is Happy St. Patrick's Day by Primrose Cottage. Now, I like it. It's very cute. Okay. I am using my Classic Colorworks. I pulled some colors, the greens, a black and a gold. I can tell you what they are exactly because I think I only have the black sitting here. The black is called Black Coffee. They're Classic Colorworks. I think the green is Grasshopper. Can't think of what the gold is off the top of my head. So let me tell you what I did here. I'm gonna use my pencil, but I gotta cover the lead. So on this particular leaf, I forgot the last row. Okay, you wouldn't think it was a big deal until I did this clover, this clover, and then went to put in the pot, and I'm one stitch too narrow. So I said, well, now what? So if you look at my pot, it's a little misshapen. That's okay. I saw somebody post in the Primrose Cottage Facebook page. She put in 3 P's. Ma'am, I totally can relate to that, okay? So the only thing I have, oh, and the other change I made, somebody in the Primrose Cottage group said they turned their horseshoes upside down because the idea behind it is to catch the luck. Well, I need some luck with this, let me tell you. So I turned my horseshoes upside down, and I also saw somebody stitch the heart in red, and I thought that was cute. So the only thing that I have to finish on this is the hat right here, and I will finish that tonight. And I will probably FFO this on Sunday, just so I can say I finished it for St. Patrick's Day. But it is a really quick stitch. What I'm finding though, now I said I'm using the Classic Colorworks in Grasshopper Green. There's really hardly any variegation to that at all. So had I really thought about it, I probably could have used DMC, but it doesn't matter. I'm using up my floss and that's good. So yeah, it's cute. It's cute, and again, seriously, I don't know. I don't know why it seems like those small pieces always cause more trouble. I really think it's because I'm not paying attention as to what I'm doing. So the other piece that I have made many mistakes on, again, and it's a small, and I talked about this the last time. don't know, is We Folk. Let me just set this up here. Okay. And I talked about this piece in that I purchased this from Hobby Lobby for my finish. And I went off of the measurements on the back that says that this is 5.5 inches, or 5.5 by 4.2. So I used that when I chose a design and started stitching, and then realized that it wasn't going to fit because this is not what the measurement says. I never thought to measure it. I will moving forward. So I restarted this like 3 times. It has come to my attention that if I don't finish it, I won't finish it. So what I'm going to do, and I probably will do this tonight as well. See this black rickrack zigzag type design? I will put that down here, and I'm calling it a day. I'm not going to put the rainbow at the bottom and everything. I'm not going to do it because I know I've already gotten myself to this level. So when I looked at this, I said, okay, what I can do is mount this on this piece. Probably I'm going to go this way with it. I have way overthought this. Let me tell you, I have just way overthought this. So I think once I get that on there, I should be able to mount this straight on there, you know, not crooked, but straight. And I'm not going to turn the edges or anything. I'm going to leave the edges raw and literally just pop it right on. A little bit of glue so that when I display it, I can display it this way. I can display it this way. I can't display it this way because it's just, I don't know. Like I said, I've already had it up to here with this piece. So we're going to just finish it, call it a day. So between these 2 St. Patrick's Day pieces, I should be okay. I should be able to finish them on Sunday. I do not mean to be distracted, but I am watching them dig a hole again outside my window. Let me just check my book. Let's keep moving here. So, yeah. Let me talk to you about my finishes. I did have 2 FFOs. Now, I talked about, I've been showing you that yellow and green Quaker that I was gifted the floss for and the yellow opalescent fabric. And I have mentioned that I'm not a fan of opalescent fabrics. But you know what? I don't want to say that because that's not true. I think they're perfect for certain situations like Christmas stitching or Easter stitching. You know, it's something that needs a little bit of sparkle. I wouldn't do it for everyday stitching. With that being said, I was gifted this Mo's, it's called Mo's Sail fabric, and this yellow opalescent fabric. And I've shown this, but here's my FFO of this. Now what I did, I didn't want to frame it because, again, measuring is hard, and I just assumed when I started stitching it that it was going to be square, but it's not. It can't be square. I mean, it could. I could make it square, but it just wouldn't look right. So I went and got artist canvas from Hobby Lobby. This is an 8x10 sheet. Well, it was an 8x10 sheet of artist canvas, and it's hard. So it has some stiffness to it. I added about 1/8 of an inch around so that when I wrapped my fabric around there, It wasn't exactly on the edge, but close enough. So I trimmed off, I want to say I trimmed off a good inch from this, and I made it almost like an 8x9. So I added a little bit of batting just to give it a little bit of puffiness. I've mentioned before, I like a little bit of loft in my pieces. And then I took, again, some of the Mo's floss, and I braided it. And this is going to hang up in my bathroom because actually my bathroom colors are yellow, peach, and white. So for where I'm displaying it, I am happy with it. I did mention in this that I do have a counting error, and if you can find it, good for you. But I really enjoyed how this Quaker went together. I am finding that I truly, truly love Quakers. Now, I've talked about this book. The design came from the Quaker Samplers book. It's the very first design in the book. If you don't have this and you do enjoy stitching Quakers, I did purchase it on Amazon, and it is, I really, really like this book. I can see myself doing other things. And of course, you know, you can pick and choose from your designs and create something that works nicely for you. Now, Esther knocked my fabrics over. Initially, I was really gung-ho on stitching more designs from this book, and I pulled out the other opalescent fabrics that I purchased from, and this was the Charming Autumn collection by XJU Design, and they're all fat quarter Aida. And again, I didn't realize it was that opalescent fabrics, but they are in shades of browns and greens. And you know, the lighting in here is actually nice for this fabric, so you can actually see what's in here. Okay. And then this is the last piece I have here. So what I did was I went through my color and cotton floss. I had been getting just like random pieces of color and cotton. They had, I think, gosh, I'm going back a few years now. I think they were just selling packs of whatever. So I chose my color and cotton floss according to the fabrics. And initially I was going to make some smalls for the retreat for next month, but I'm going to do something different. But I did take this out of the book. I did start this because this is what I was going to do, and just turn them into a little pillow. And I don't know, you know what? I'm looking at this now and I'm like, oh, I really do like that. I thought it might be nice. So what I've done is chosen, let's go this way, chosen colors that I thought would look really nice, like a blue and the gold, and then the two purples. Oh, I hate when I do this because now I'm rethinking myself yet again. Ugh, goodness sakes. So here's another set of colors. And then the last one here. And I really think, oh, this is another one that I really like. Look at how nice those, oops, sorry. Let me go this way. I'm fumbling here. Look at how nice those go together. So again, now that I'm looking at this, I might just come back and do some of those, these, and just turn them into little pillows. The problem is I don't know how many people are going to be at the table. So I'm waiting to get an email from Kathy, and I know that they were super, super busy with market, and then with the next retreat sign up, which I'm going to talk about as well. So I think I need help here. I'm just all over the place. Do I want to continue doing the designs out of this book? Do I want to do something different? Oh, it's a dilemma, but it's a wonderful dilemma to have. So again, this will be hanging in my bathroom. And let me show you some of the other things that I have finished and created and that have been hanging there for a bit. How many of you had the cross-stitch towels? Oh, where's my little board? Let's put my board over here. It'll be easier to see on my board because I did the Lori Holt boards. Remember I talked about that? I was going to do 1 or 2, but no, I had to do all 12. Oh, my goodness. Okay. So how many of you have done these towels or have these towels? This is what I did. I tried to choose colors that were in these buttons, right? These are Lori Holt stitch card designs. And I put a few of them on there. I think if I would have done a 4th one, I mean, it would have fit. I had hoped I could have done them all the way across if I remember correctly, but I got to the point where I was done. You know, when you reach that limit, you're like, okay, we're done. I started in the center, did 1 on each side and said, okay, I'm done, right? So I added little decorative buttons. And is it out of place in my bathroom? Probably. But the colors match. And who sees it but me, right? So I do have quite a few more of these tea towels. And of course, they're in the country blues and the mauve colors from back in the day. It's okay. If I find a spot for it, I'm going to use it, right? Even if I just do it for a holiday and hang it. Now, I did this. I had a friend. Well, I still have her. She is still my friend. She had some health issues. And when I went on quilt retreat in March of 2017, up at the Stella Niagara, our quilt guild used to put on quilt retreats. And at COVID, everything just shut down and, you know, kind of put a damper on that. So I made my friend a quilt called Friendship Bracelet, and the leftover pieces from the quilt that I made her, I turned into a wall hanging for myself. And these little half square triangles are teeny tiny. They were about maybe 1.25 inches, and then, you know, trimming them down to make them uniform. And then what I did was I did quilt it heavily with a stipple design. And the reason I did that is because of the amount of seams in this. And I really wanted this to be flat. So I do have this hanging up in my bathroom as a reminder that I made the quilt for Mel. And I have a piece for myself. And then here's another one that I did for myself. And this is really just no design to it at all. I just took half square triangles and squares, popped them together, added some borders. Now this floral fabric that's in the center, in the blocks there, what I did for bathroom curtains upstairs, I loved this fabric. I loved the colors in it. I found it at Joann's, and I just loved the colors. It went in my bathroom perfectly. So I purchased the fabric, and then I took some of this blue fabric that I had in stock, and I ripped them into strips. A lot of strips. I have a small window up in the bathroom, and I took the strips and I just tied them to hang from the curtain rod. Nothing fancy, but it took a lot of strips. So I got to the point where I was making that, doing this cutting of the strips, and I ran out and I couldn't get any more fabric, and I made a plea to a quilting group online, and somebody had the fabric and she sent it to me, and I was really excited because I could not find this fabric anymore. You know how sometimes when you find something and it just sticks with you? But it is a very, to me, it's a very pretty fabric. I love the colors in it. There's some peach way down in there. That is the peach that I matched to do the trim. So I have white beadboard, then I have the peach trim, and then I have yellow walls, which I also matched from the fabric. So this is really cute. And I actually hand quilted this. If you look closely, that is hand quilted, and I just did random flowers, and I used the pinky color. If you look at the pinky color flower, I used thread to match. And then on the back, I just put something, again, that's bright and cheerful. And this also hangs on my wall upstairs. So between the cross stitch and those little things and a couple of other little decorative pieces that I have hanging up there, everything is bright and cheerful. I also have a sign up there that says, today's a good day to have a good day. Right? Okay. So those are my, no, I have one more finish. Let me tell you here. So I'm going through my old cross stitch, like pieces from the 90s that I have found. And I found this little piece, and initially I don't remember what I was going to do with it. What I do remember is that I had the edges of the, this actually looks like a Lugana, folded over and pinned with straight pins. And you know what happens after 30 years of something being pinned with a straight pin, especially if you put the pins in your mouth and they're wet when you pin them into your fabric. And don't tell me you don't stick pins in your mouth, because if you're a seamstress, you stick pins in your mouth, and it's just, it is what it is. It's a habit that I have tried to break forever. It is what it is. So I found this little piece because yesterday I did finish, fully finish that Quaker piece. And then I found this piece and I said, you know what? It is so tiny. I don't even remember this pattern. I don't remember the maker of the pattern. I know it was a little kit because it came with the little scissors. So she is a little sewing angel. Now, because the fabric was, had the little rust marks on it from the pins, I really couldn't do much with it. So I measured 1/8 of an inch away from the design. And yes, I cut straight on, on the lines of the fabric, of the Lugana, just to make sure that it's even. So this was really tiny. And I took a piece of Kim Deal fabric. Ooh, almost dropped her. A piece of Kim Deal fabric for the back. And then I found some wool. Now, let me back up for a second. I normally do not stitch all the way around and then cut my back. I don't do that. When I make a pillow, I leave the opening and then stuff it. But this was so tiny that I felt that that would be the best way to do this. So, of course, I had to cut a significant, for me, hole in the back to do that. So I put a piece of wool on the back and I stitched it down using some thread that I found in my stash. And this is an old J.P. Coates 50 weight. Trying to get it to focus on that and not my face. Silk thread. Where's my board? Here it is. Maybe you can see it better there. Can you see the color? No, you can't. It's silk. You know what? It matches my shirt unintentionally. So it's a very thin, stop right there, Barb, it's not working. It's a very thin silk thread. I don't know how old it is, but I do have quite a few spools of silk thread, old silk thread in my stash. So that is what I use to I literally just straight stitched. There's nothing fancy about it. So this is her. She's actually going to sit in this little bowl. She's just going to go in here like this. In this bowl, I have this piece that I did in 2023. And I know this is a part of a series, and I'm, of course, blanking on the name right now. This is a Finally the Farm Girl piece. Okay, and I'm pretty sure I've shown these before. I stitched this in 2023. I got my little charm on the back. Woohoo! And then this piece I found at an antique store or something like that. It's just an old strawberry with the pins in it. I didn't even take the pins out of it. So she's going to sit in here with her new friends. Hopefully she doesn't get lost because they are big girls and she's tiny. She's a tiny little girl. So she's going to sit in there, and this bowl actually sits in my sunroom here. Now the bowl itself, at our fair in the fall or August, we have obviously arts and crafts and things like that. There is a stand that sells hand-turned wooden objects, and it benefits, I want to say it benefits our children's hospital here. Pretty sure. Or Make-A-Wish might have been one of those, but I know it was something with the kids. So every year I go and I look for another bowl. I have two now. Well, I can't say every year. The past couple years, right? Because after COVID, you know, the fair wasn't, we all know what happened. We don't have to go through that. So this particular bowl is walnut. I paid $45 for it. Yes, I did. And I am not embarrassed to say that. Actually, I think I'm going to go snag the other one and show you that too. But this was made out of walnut, and the artist, he made it in 2019. So this is my nice little dough bowl that I keep my little pieces in. And at Christmas, it stays out, and I put little Christmas pieces in it. And it sits on top of my old Singer sewing machine table. This is the bowl that I just bought last year. This one's made out of maple. And again, I have my little things sitting in here. These all came from Hobby Lobby. Another Matilda. She sits in here. So I do every year go back and look for another bowl because I find that it's important. If it's not a bowl, it's another wooden piece. I'm fortunate that I have 6 very healthy grandchildren, and I cannot imagine any parent or grandparent or family that has sick children. And it just, in my opinion, no, children shouldn't. They shouldn't have to go through that, right? Nobody should. Okay. But that's just me. And I will always go back every year at our fair to support this particular cause because it's special in that, you know, I know that my grandchildren, they mean everything to me. Okay, so let me talk to you about who I watched this past week. Of course, I watched Lori Holt. She did her crochet, she calls it the Floribunda Granny Square blocks. Now, I'm not going to do that pattern. I actually have a crochet pattern I'm going to need some help with here. But I just enjoy listening to Lori Holt and watching her videos. So I just had it on in the background. I did watch Stitch Rhodey, and I enjoyed her conversation on, you know, what is your sweet spot? when you stitch, right? What is the fabric that you prefer the most on which to stitch? Personally, I can look at this and say, well, you know what? It really depends on what I'm stitching, right? If I'm looking at smalls for a holiday, I will, hang on. I do apologize for all the stops and starts today, but I'm trying to eliminate a lot of the barking and stuff. Neighbor was walking by with his dog, so the dogs next door started barking, and I'm waiting for my dogs to start to bark. But anyway, let's talk about that sweet spot. Depending on what I'm stitching, if it's a holiday piece that I know is only going to be displayed for a certain amount of time, I more likely will choose Aida if I have the color, or even if I want to take the color and coffee tea dye it myself. I don't have a problem with that. I might use Lugana if I have a small piece. I really enjoy stitching on Lugana. If I had to put things in priority for me, I would say Lugana, Aida, and then linen. Lugana, I always stitch in hand. Aida, I always stitch in hand. Linen, I do have to use a hoop or a scroll or something because obviously, you know, with the weave of the fabric and it being flimsy and stuff. But for me, my sweet spot is if I'm doing linen or whatever, I'm 32 or 36 count. 32 is probably a little bit better. But overall, I would say mine is more in line with what I am stitching. And then I kind of go from there. So I watched Helen D's recap from Nashville. And I wrote myself a note because she showed the Stitch Lovely by Robin Pickens. And I don't remember if I ordered that or not. So I have to go back and check my Hobby House order. Because if I didn't, it's on my list, right? I watched the Primrose Cottage ladies yesterday. I seem to catch I don't catch their live, but I'll watch it at night. And I also have been watching the Librarian Stitcher, Jess. I am going back and just kind of going through her videos. Now, the one that I watched two last night, and the second one was the one where she went to that local quilt art craft antique shop that they have where she is, and I believe she's out in Maryland. I could walk that store and oh my gosh, if you haven't watched that video, I am going to tag Jess below. I don't know what video number it was of hers, maybe 4-ish, maybe 5, but she walks you through the shop where she is now starting to take quilt lessons, or she was starting to take quilt lessons in that particular video. But man, that shop, it has fabric on the bolt. It has antique fabric or antique quilts, lots of antiques in there, art and craft supplies. It looks like the kind of shop that I would love to work at and probably just work for free because I would be spending my paycheck. So, but I enjoy listening to Jess. She's really got a lot going on. She's Girl Scouts, involved in Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts, and obviously she's a librarian. She does a lot of different type of art projects where she wants to learn how to do things. I am not that bold. I would love to learn calligraphy. I would love to learn calligraphy. My problem with taking on a new form of artwork is I have to have everything for it. And I have to know how to do everything about it. I can't just start slow. I feel like I dive into something and then I just get so overwhelmed. But calligraphy has always been something that I've wanted to try. And it still is nagging in the back of my brain, you know, like, well, you know, now there's YouTube videos. You could start slow. But again, I become obsessed. There is a lady that I watch on TikTok. She's called The Vintage Journal. And she does all of the journaling with paper. And oh my God, the things that this woman makes. I remember last summer, just watching video after, after each other, going to Joann's to say, I need to do this. And I stood there and I said, I cannot be involved in another craft like that, because I know I would have spent a few $100s just pulling everything, and I wouldn't have the time to devote to it. So I'm trying to tell myself, stick with the crafts that you have, quilting, cross stitch, sometimes crochet, and go from there, right? Let's not go overboard. So anyway, I'm going to put Jess's information below. I really like listening to her and just the different things that she's stitching. Like there are some things that she stitches that just I would not. But I enjoy seeing those things because, sometimes it might spark interest in another area. So, what did I buy? What are my personal presents? I forgot to show this on the last video. There goes my thread. But I picked this up at Hobby Lobby, and I thought this would be a really cute little display for little Easter smalls. Let's turn it the right way with the bow facing the front. And it's, just a little metal basket. And I thought a couple of Easter smalls in here would be really cute. So this is one personal present that I bought. I have bins of Easter decorations, and I'm trying to, not overdo it. I do know that I did purchase a few more things, and I think I already put them up with my Easter things in the area so that I know when I need to decorate, they'll be there. But nothing really that, to write home about, just a few small things. So that's really it with my personal presents. I'm just kind of waiting for my stuff when I go to Hobby House next month for retreat. The Plum Street and Heartstring Samplery retreat is next month, April 25th through the 27th. It is being hosted by Hobby House Needleworks, and it is going to be at the Woodcliff. I know that it's sold out. I don't know if there's a wait list or not, but when I do go for a retreat, then I'll be picking up the purchases. Oh, hey, did you order the cookbook from Market, the Nashville Needlework Market cookbook? I did. I'm excited to see the Primrose ladies showed yesterday that they didn't obviously show in detail, but there are many designers that have offered a small in that book. And it is they did make a really good point about, if you are going to if you're going to retreat or something like that and you need a small, it's perfect. And I have, in the past few years, stitched some of the smalls from the cookbook. So I'm excited to see the cookbook. Now, I have a question. I saw this in a crochet group. It's called It's Raining Hearts. It is an Afghan pattern, and I found it on Etsy. Now, I have never stitched a corner-to-corner Afghan. What I was a bit disappointed about with this is all it is a chart. It is not a pattern per se. It is a chart, like a cross-stitch chart, to crochet the design. So I messaged the designer or this company or whatever. It's by Two Magic Pixels. And I said, there's no instructions. How do you do this? There's no, what size crochet hook do I use? How do I stitch this? Well, apparently you have options. You can do a corner to corner, which if you look at this design, it is a corner to corner, which means when you start to crochet, you start in the corner and you go back and forth like a zigzag. So you're not working horizontal, you're actually working on the diagonal. Okay? In order to get this particular look, they give you have the option of stitching in the traditional, I would say, of, right to left horizontal. But they don't tell you you know, you can stitch this with single crochet, double crochet, triple crochet. You can do the corner to corner method. So I was really disappointed because I've never stitched off of a chart like this. I did find some videos on YouTube to do a corner to corner crochet, but has anybody ever done anything like this? Have you ever crocheted from just a chart? And if so, how did you do it? I'm not happy with myself. Like I said, I saw the pattern in a crochet group that I belong to, and I thought, oh my God, I could do that for my 2 youngest granddaughters. Read everything first. That's all I'm going to say about that. Okay, so what's coming up, my friends? I got into the Brenda Gervais that's going to be hosted by Hobby House Needleworks in June of 2026. Let me tell you, that retreat sold out in 5 minutes. 5 minutes. I was shocked. I had my phone, you know, my alarm set. I got on right at 5 o'clock, signed up. I was done by 5:01, and not 10 minutes later, people were saying, oh my God, it's sold out. What? Now the Woodcliff is big, right? The room there is big. When I went there before, I don't know what the limit was for Brenda Gervais, but I know that room holds a few hundred people, maybe. I don't know, but it sold out in 5 minutes time. There is a wait list. So the retreat is June 5th through 7th of 2026. It is hosted by Hobby House Needleworks, and it will be held at the Woodcliff, which reminds me I have to call and make my room reservation. There is a wait list for it. I am so excited. So very excited. So if you're going to the Plum Street Samplery retreat next month in April, please let me know. I would love to sit together with people. If you got into the Brenda Gervais in June of 2026, please let me know. I would love to sit with you with that as well. What's coming up locally for me? Well, we have something called Plantasia. It starts, I think it started yesterday. Did it start yesterday? Last night? And it is all about gardening. And our local garden centers and manufacturers, things like that, set up displays, garden displays at our fairgrounds. We have an event center at our fairgrounds, and they bring in the flowers and the bushes, and they set up all of these designs for you. And let me tell you, when you walk in, you're hit with the scent of hyacinths, right? Tulips and daffodils. A lot of the greenhouses in the area force blooms so that they bloom for this particular weekend, and then they set up their displays. I can tell you that I will be stopping by Lockwood's greenhouse. They are set up there. Seneca Greenhouse, which is another place where I purchase my house plants, and I do have quite a few here in the sunroom. They love it in the sunroom. Gullo's is another garden center that I like to visit in our area. So I'm really, really looking forward to that. The Hubs and I are going to go on Sunday, and we're going to go to dinner, and I will buy plant-related things. It's going to happen. I do it every year, and I'm not sorry about it. So I am looking forward to that this weekend. What else is going on? Oh, listen. I know I've mentioned this before, but I'm going to mention it again. There is no shame in asking for help. There used to be stigma attached when I was younger and growing up, that if anybody needed to talk to a counselor or sought help, in an area that was just a struggle for them, they were looked at in a not so favorable manner. I've mentioned before that I have gone through a cancer scare. I was diagnosed October 1st with breast cancer. I had surgery November 11th. I started radiation I went through radiation up until mid-February. I had to postpone the start of my radiation because of an infection that I had. So I'm healing very well. I physically finally feel good. I feel like my mental clarity is finally coming back, where I'm able to focus on more than one thing at a time. But what I had to do is ask for help, because I couldn't understand how people support other people. How do I explain this? As a mom and a caregiver and a nurturer, I felt that support should be given to me the way I give support. And I have learned that that's not always the case. There were different levels of support that I received. Some, checking in, how are you going? How's it going? What do you need? Is there anything I can do for you? All the way to not even asking how I'm doing. And that was a struggle for me. And I had to learn that everybody handles a situation like this differently. There is no history of cancer in my family. My immediate family and my extended family may not, well, I know my immediate family has not had to deal with this. My extended family, and I'm talking, maybe cousins, in-laws, things like that, they may, in their circle, have had to have handled it, right? So I struggled with feeling that I wasn't given the support that I felt I deserved. And I had to ask for help and speak to somebody who said to me, in a roundabout, very nice way, support is different for everyone. Understand where they're coming from. Maybe they don't know how to react because they haven't had to react to that situation. So there were a few things brought to my attention, and I was very, very grateful for that, because it helped me understand better, and it's helping me heal better, because it's not just about physical, right? It is all of those dimensions of health. Excuse me. So it's all of those dimensions of health on which we heal. Physical, right? My physical needs were met extremely well by Roswell Park, my cancer hospital, institute, right? So my physical needs were met, but mental, social, emotional, occupational, environmental, all of those other needs need to be addressed in order for people to heal, no matter what you're going through, right? No matter what you're going through, all of those dimensions of health need to be in somewhat of a balance. And if you think about it, it's a continuum. So you have ups and downs, right? Some days you have great days. Some days you're just like, oh, I don't feel like doing anything. I don't know what it is that's causing me this issue. But anyway, my point to you is this. If there is anything with which you are struggling, there is no stigma attached if you need to ask for help. I think, in my opinion, there's more of a stigma attached if you're struggling and you don't, because people look at you like, why are you not seeking help? It is something that has become so prevalent, right? People need other people to talk to. And if you don't have family members, or you just need that outside opinion to bring in to help digest in your own way and see how it works for you, please do it. I do not regret that I asked to speak to somebody to help me understand why levels of support look different. And I was given very good answers. And it has truly, truly helped me get past a lot of this and start healing. So, what I have to say to you is please don't sit in the dark. Don't let those things fester, because you can turn around and blow things up and turn them into something that they are not. And they're not going to help you on your healing process, whatever healing you need. So, my friends, I am sending you all good thoughts, happy thoughts. I'm hoping that you have sunshine and happiness where you are. If you don't, you can create your happiness and your sunshine. Find those things that bring you joy, whether it's playing with your grandchildren, walking through a craft store, going antiquing, taking a walk through a park. I have a park, literally, I can see it from here, Cazenovia Park. It's a beautiful park. It's time to start getting outside here anyway, cleaning up, picking up the sticks. I can also see outside my window here, my lilac bush is starting to get some buds on it. So please find your sunshine, find your happiness. You know it's there. Even if you need to take it in small bites, it's there for you. Okay? I wish you all well, and I will see you probably in another week. Bye, my friends.